Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Marsh, your moderator. And on behalf of our presenters, logi-Cloud.com and LOGFLOWS, I would like to welcome you all to today's webinar entitled How to Upgrade Your Fulfillment Operations from Warehouse Pick and Pack to Last Mile Delivery by SaaS Solutions. This webinar is designed to provide you insights regarding the introduction of logi-Cloud, warehouse-centric SaaS WMS, come with optimized pick and pack processes for B2B, B2C, and e-commerce. Introduction of LOGFLOWS, SaaS TMS, designed for modern last mile arrangement. How logi-Cloud and LOGFLOWS with pre-built integration seamlessly connect the full path of fulfillment operations, and how easy to start using logi-Cloud and LOGFLOWS. Now, before we begin and introduce our speakers, I would like to go over some housekeeping rules. All participants will be muted and your cameras are being turned off throughout the webinar, so the speakers can present without interruption and, of course, for your privacy. If your connection stops, just log off and log back in, and you'll be in the webinar room once again. Anytime you have any questions during the presentation, you may submit via the Q&A function located on the bottom part of your screen. The session will be recorded and sent to registered attendees afterwards. Leave your contact info for a free consultation and stick around for an exclusive offer at the end. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our speakers. Joining us today is Arthur Chen. For the last 20 years, Arthur Chen has focused on IT solutions, integrating technology to supply chain management and operations. He is constantly fascinated about how things and life function, as well as how each and every tiny action leads to the bigger picture. His mission is to help small and medium-sized businesses and micro enterprises become professionals in warehouse and logistics operations. And joining Arthur is Felix Wong from LOGFLOWS. Felix Wong is the co-founder of Acquaintance Enterprises Limited, established in 2015 as a logistics technologies company dedicated to tracking logistics, R&D, and communication platform development. Before Felix started his own venture, he worked in Panalpina China Limited for over 15 years, including various years of overseas working experience in Switzerland, Shanghai, Chengdu, and Brazil, with most of the time in air freight and account management. So Arthur and Felix, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Marsh. Yeah, this is Felix. Perhaps I go first. As already introduced by Marsh, what our company LOGFLOWS doing is the last mile distribution system or the transportation management system. So in this presentation, I will of course mainly focusing on sharing our experience and past experience about how we could help our clients to improve their last mile distribution fulfillment operations. But before that, perhaps I could also share a little bit of experience before we start the LOGFLOWS, because we have been in the technology or the system industry for quite a number of years. So a little bit of history to share and to share a little bit on how the system landscape changed from year to year. So perhaps some of you may heard that the ERP system, right? Or many of your company already start using the ERP system, which I think is one of the most commonly used business or the enterprise system in the world. Started from like more than 30 years ago. And actually it's a very complicated system to cover basically all the bases of enterprise company that should have. But of course, because it's so complicated and because at the very beginning, like ERP is designed for the manufacturing company, so the workflow is very rigid. SME company probably may not be very easy to use or implement this, even like since to the like 1990. So and then like about like 10 to more than like 15 years ago, then we start to have these Microsoft Dynamics R3 to started to have spin off the ERP system to make it more like operation related. Operation means not just focusing on the procurement, sales, or invoicing, but also more on the operation related workflow. That is the TMS and WMS, which is more related to, these two are related to the logistics. So, and then in these perhaps 5 years, people are getting more and more focusing on break down this ERP system, which is, as I mentioned, is very complicated and heavy system, to like a small pieces of system. And there's come up with a lot of links here. Like for example, OMS, operation management system, WMS, TMS, FMS, freight management system, CRM, customer relationship management, HRM, and etc., etc. And of course, here you can see some of the very famous brand name, like at the left bottom corner, the POS system that is Shopify, or the largest SaaS subscription-based software house for CRM, Salesforce at the bottom, or Xero for accounting. So this is probably the trend. That is we come with the idea of SaaS, SaaS, software as a service, and then it come up with a lot of people talk about API. The full name is Application Programming Interface, to make the system even separated under the different branding, but connected with each other like one single system. So the good thing about this is to make the ERP integrations or the ERP implementation much easier than before. And it will also much lighter and easier to change for a particular function. So for example, now I use WMS, TMS, FMS from CargoWise, and then CRM from Salesforce. And just in case, whatever reason, then I find that the CRM, Salesforce is too expensive or too complicated, or I would like to try another system, you don't need to change also like the WMS, TMS, and FMS. But you only need to change one of the, or we subscribe and other services and do the integration again. So it's quite easy to change and much easier to implement. That's the reason why in the past like few years, like SaaS and API is one of the most heavily mentioned wording. So of course, I already mentioned another additional reason why the people go for cloud instead of like traditional on-premises. I think I categorize it into three main reasons. One is from CapEx to OpEx. I think it's one and the most important reason because many of the company, especially the biggest established company, they need to get the approval for the CapEx if they want to implement a system of like 1 million. But if we now go for like pay-as-you-go or monthly subscription basis, many of our clients, for example, they just regard as LOGFLOWS as a service, and then to put it as like operation expenses. So it's much easier to get the approval from the budget or etc. And then the second is modularized, because I think later on we will talk about like no matter LOGFLOWS or logi-Cloud, WMS, we actually put a lot of efforts to break down our system to different modules. So it make it much easier for you to select what you want and fit into your system, so that even the system is not tailor-made for you, you can still like take and select the function that most fitted to your operation flow to like a custom-made system, even if it's not, because it's modularized. And the third is also related to this, is because it's much faster in the implementation. You don't need to go for one big bang. You can subscribe one or two modules first, and then to implement the different modules later one by one. And the last is also very, very important for the logistics market, is that elastic and scalable is very important, as the logistics are international business. Many of the company not only in one place has an office, but multiple places. So whenever there's a system that can entertain a multi geographic without any geographic constraints, and then it can be much easier to to scale up, like the cloud-based software. You don't need to implement your own server, so it is also much easier for you to go for cloud for the logistics company or industry. So then come up to the idea of how to select a suitable TMS. I know actually TMS is the transportation management system is not such a thing that you have a lot of choice, because it's actually quite a rich system, not as common as ERP, CRM, or POS, or even WMS. But TMS is actually one of the very up and coming software for the logistics industry, probably because of the COVID and the epidemic. People having a lot more and more like the home distribution or the last mile distribution needed. So how to select the suitable TMS for your company is there are some consideration. The first is actually you would like to write on the benefits of the cloud system. You do not just want to buy a system, but you want the system to become like a network, because everything is on the cloud. Not only you yourself, but your business partner, your clients, and so on probably would like to also in the same network. So that is much easier for you and your client and your partners to talk to each other through the network, through the platform, and then of course through this system that you buy. So this is the first thing, to see whether the system is on the cloud and whether the system is easy for you to build up, to integrate with the other or external system, or to have enough users also using the same system to make it very easy for you to connect it through the system. And then the second is when you buy an operation system, the most important, of course, is the left-hand side is the operation flow. That is, of course, must have as an enterprise system. But second is how to protect your data, how the data can be retrieved for you, for your future use, because everybody know data is so important. No matter it's for the big data or data analytics, whatever, for your business growth, you have to make sure that there's enough data collected and the data can be easily retrieved for your future use. And then on the right-hand side, already mentioned is it's very easy to connect it with your business partner. No matter it's upstream or downstream, your customer, your business partner, it can be like to form like a platform to make it very comprehensive, not just for the operations. This is probably like one of the example that is like a project we provided for some of the very enterprise-based level customers. When they have very complicated structure, they have a lot of different internal departments like this size. On the left-hand side, they have different divisions like air freight, ocean freight, logistics, SME, key account department, and they can place the booking to the warehouse if they have multiple warehouse, and then the order can go to a single contact point. We call it the centralized trucking team to manage the pickup and delivery of the different pickup point or hub or factory, and then to outsource the requirement, outsource the distribution needs to the different subcontractor. Or they have their own driver, they can also plan the order and send it to the driver. And all these communications, or simply say every single square box here you see, actually it's part of the system. Not everybody can log into the system like our TMS LOGFLOWS. They have different interface, different parties, internal, externally, can log into the system, and then they can do what they want. Like, for example, on the very left side, the different internal department or customers can place the booking, and these booking can be redirected to the WMS or the related parties in the factory so that they can do a pick and pack. And then after the pick pack, it can be sent back to the centralized trucking team and do the planning, etc. Even the driver who are not always in the office, they do not have a laptop or PC, they can also use the mobile app to log into the system to get the order they need to fulfill every day. So all the communications there shouldn't have any information breakdown. and that is why we say it's the basic of a cloud-based TMS that should have. So the next is, of course, after we implement this like a legwork for TMS, what would be the benefits of using a TMS? As I mentioned, TMS is not very common at the moment in the whole logistic market, not as common as the air freight system, ocean freight system, or WMS. But what actually TMS can achieve for you? First, like every single system, it actually is kind of like workflow digitalization. Like other freight management system, TMS should digitalize or to do a paperless of most of the operation flow. All the pickup notice, delivery notice, EPOD can be digitalized to make it easier to handle it virtually. And then this is one of the basic function. Of course, our benefit is to make the workflow digitalize it. And then at the same time, of course, there will be reduce operation cost by reduce the tendency on the the communication, make the communication much easier, reduce the missing information in between. It can definitely increase the productivity. And then for the continuous improvement, basically is to make use of the data on and off, no matter it's simply as a pickup or drop off distribution or fulfillment home delivery operation. There's actually a lot of data incur every day, like the routing of the driver, the fulfillment rate, what is the average handling time of each order. All this information should be collected through the daily operation, no matter it's through the web applications or the driver's mobile app. These data should be ready to be used and then to let you to have based on the data to provide a continuous improvement of your companies. And this is very interesting. It's definitely when you use a mobile app, for example, for last mile distribution, it is very easy for you, the customer, to feel like your company is different. Because unlike the air freight or ocean freight system, which is more like internal, your customers probably may not be able to see the differences. However, if this is talking about the last mile or especially the home delivery or store delivery, when the drivers are doing the distribution, and there's always a chance to having your drivers or your subcontractor, the transporters, to facing your end customer, your consumer. And the differences will make a lot of difference of the image if the drivers can instead of throwing out like scratch paper, but is to send out like a mobile app for them to scan the QR code to provide proof of delivery, or to have an electronic sign on glass electronic proof of delivery. This will make a very different image of the company image, the improvement. And of course, it's also related to enhanced customer experience. As a customer, I would definitely be spoiled by Amazon or other big e-commerce merchant. They provide a very visible high visibility of the cargo check-in chase, and that is basically it's well expected. It's like a norm. So if your company do not have these services, it will also give a very a little bit less more less impressive services in terms of the customers. So these are the very basic benefits that the TMS can bring to your company. And I will always say COVID actually, of course, make a lot of business difficult, but also it's the best time to upgrade your TMS. One of the reasons is, as I already mentioned, online shopping basically is everywhere. It's also become a norm after 2.5 years of COVID. The buying behavior change. Even my parents will go and online buying stuff. And so when there's a survey, the people, when we talk about the experience of online purchasing, apart from the product itself, the quality of the product itself, the most important thing that is a statistic here. The first, of course, is the refund. If you can give me the refund services or the try, and then to get a free return order, of course, that will definitely bonus. But the second then is the dispatch problem. If you can give me like on-time delivery, I do not need to necessarily to wait for 1 or 2 weeks to receive the product. It will definitely provide a much better shopping experience of mine. So the second is already, according to survey, the second place of the e-commerce complaint that related is already a dispatch problem. And also the next slide is showing that, as I mentioned, the people, when they go online shopping, what is the most important things that they are expecting from the consumer? That is the, the stability, visibility, split are very important. So that is also can be improved easily if you can using a system like a TMS to enhance this. So this is also become like a must. I know that like for an e-commerce merchant, for example, if like the audience here are running an e-commerce business, like procurement, the like cost of goods sold of your product itself, of course, will be a part of the major expenses of your business. But apart from that, transportation and logistics costs will probably is the second. So definitely, if the system can reduce your cost to make it more effective, it's already a chance to make your e-commerce business more profitable. So the next is at the end, if we can successfully to implement, select a correct TMS system, and then that should to your company or the business, and then you could also to see the benefit or implement it successfully. What will be the end at the end of the day? What will you receive through the TMS? Is like this one. It's like a robust TMS system to connect your different parties, warehouse, your customers, your subcontractor, your drivers, your manufacturing, or your manufacturers, or your distribution store, like a network effect. And then because this is cloud-based, you can easily expand your business, not only locally, but overseas. That is the benefit of using like when you select a port, a suitable cloud-based TMS system that will benefit at the end. So last, before I pass it to the WMS system VP, logi-Cloud, I will of course talk about what we do and do some like introduction of our product LOGFLOWS and how we as a Hong Kong-based company can extend it to the overseas market. What we do, I think, is very much match the needs of the TMS needs in the market. Our basic customers are the trucker, the local trucker, of course, the e-commerce merchant, the retail chain, and of course the freight forwarding company or VPL. We offer, as mentioned, the SaaS model solution, but also quite interestingly, we know logistics actually is not a very complicated operation business, but there's a lot of like localization of customer customs, they're very different workflow in each company. So there's we also provide customization of project-based management services. And this is some of our customers that basically cover many of the bases from the retail chain to the local transportation company, the e-commerce, and those are freight forwarding companies. And we actually say we are very easy to implement and use. One of the reasons is that we always follow this number 1 to 5 operation flow. Basically, no matter you are e-commerce, you are traditional retailers, or you are the freight forwarding company or local trucking company, you are actually following this standard rule as a transportation or the distribution flow. Starting from an order, and then to do a planning, we call the assignment. No matter this planning is to make a decision whether you make use of your own trucker, your own driver, or to outsource it to external transportation company. And then you have your own driver or your carriers to receive the order and handle it for you. And at the end, of course, to return the order status to the system that you own. And then at the end, of course, not only just to make sure the proof of delivery is ready, but once the delivery is done, we will also calculate the rates Rate means that if you are a logistics company, you have your account receivable, that is your selling rate, and also the cost, that is the carrier cost. There's account payable that we calculated already in the system, because we have a rate engine to calculate all these costs, and then every single order you will know basically immediately what is whether it's profit or loss. And then, of course, as I mentioned, the AR/AP, account payable and account receivable ledger, will be created automatically. And how to make use of this ledger, we will also can do an integration perhaps with your ERP system to pass it back to the charge line, the charges, the invoice amount, to your accounting system to make the invoice without any double entry. So it's a very typical workflow, and it can be easily applied to many of the industries. And as mentioned, later on, like logi-Cloud Alpha, we'll talk much about the API integration, but as this is a standard, TMS is always work together and in parallel with a WMS and ERP. So it's you can easily define the role of the TMS, which is more on the distribution, planning, tracking, like the check and trace, and especially last mile or the first pickup, check and trace, and the rate calculation and quotation. And this is some of the module which we do not have much time to go through all of this, but as a TMS, transportation management focused like tech company, we are very focused on the logistic transportation and fulfillment. We don't do any like WMS or like a financing system or modules, but if you look at here, every single pieces of these modules are related to transportation itself. Like for example, in the middle is the data hub or the control panel to set up the rule, the planning rule. So once you set up the rule in the middle, and then there's in the bottom, you see like planning tools. That is to, based on the rule, to automatically assign the order to the different parties. And then on the left-hand side, you will see like the customer portal, check and trace page, all this is already. Once you implement, the data is there. You can also to provide all these like check and trace, no matter it's proactively or passively, to let your customer to know where about is the cargoes. And then on the right-hand side, you also, of course, you have a staff management, mini driver, driver assistance. You have the vehicle management, you have the billing engine, and we have also at the top is the matching platform. That is one of the very interesting business that we are now doing, not exactly a profitable business, but we also helping our customer, no matter they are the shipper who need the logistics services or the carrier who provide the logistics services, to match with each other. It's like a free services, but because in Hong Kong, we have the biggest like local carrier or the transporter, trucker usage rate, most customers in Hong Kong. So we can easily to refer some of our carriers to another customer to become a partner of each other, because they are all using the system, using the same system landscape. So this is the pricing module. Very easy, as I mentioned, if you are interested in LOGFLOWS, especially after this webinar, if you are interested, we always recommend you to start with a light version. You can easily to experience or feel like have a look and feel of how LOGFLOWS can do for you in your business. And then in any single time, once you want to add an additional module, or you find that the light version is not enough your business, then just feel free to upgrade the system and with adding the new modules there to make it more comprehensive and fit to your business model. And yeah, this is the presentation or the sharing that I made today. At the end, of course, I will, this is Felix again. If you interested, you can scan the QR code on the top to save my contact. Just email me or leave me a message, WhatsApp, or even phone call me if you would like to get more information about LOGFLOWS. And at the bottom, at the end, of course, Marsh will also share our QR code, the promotion code again, because you join this webinar. If you would like to have a free trial account for LOGFLOWS like TMS, then you definitely can we can offer like the chance to provide this like trial service for you. But yeah, we'll show this QR code again later. But at this moment, after the TMS sections, you know basic about what SaaS model, what is the cloud-based system, and how to select the TMS. And of course, the most importantly is how to also select the WMS, which is, as I mentioned, TMS and WMS is like a like a brotherhood. So it's always come together. So the next session, I will pass it to Alfred to introduce the logi-Cloud WMS, which is a very good partner. And thank you very much, everybody. And thank you. Alfred, it's on you.
Okay, thank you very much, Felix. Okay, let me switch to my PowerPoint. Felix, can you just stop sharing and so I can take over it? Okay, thank you.
Here you go.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Arthur from logi-Cloud. Some of the audience might be not the first time to join our webinar. Actually, this is our third episode of our webinar series in this year. So thanks, Felix, for all the introduction and explanation about the SaaS models and the industrial trends in software market. So back to logi-Cloud, we mainly focus on the warehouse operations. So first of all, I would like to ask a question to everyone. That's how a digitalized warehouse will be looked like in your imagination or in your experience. Probably you can think about, okay, a digitalized warehouse, that means I can at least use barcode scanning. So all the scanning will be effectively affected to the system so that I don't need to write anything. I don't need to record anything on the paper and do the data entry. That's everything will be verified automatically immediately by the system, so that my stock in the inventory in the warehouse will be very tidy and very organized. Yes, that's one of the things of digitalized warehouse should be looked like. And secondly, in the warehouse, we know we have different best practice. Two famous practices like first in, first out, and first expire, first out. So if for the warehouse without any system, all these rules and best practices need to manage manually by the supervisor. But if we have a right system, the system or the WMS should be able to guide your workforce to do the right thing in the right procedures and prevent any errors. And the error will be blocked right away, and the decision will be enforced to the operation team automatically. So that's what a digitalized warehouse should be achieved as well. And also the information, once you have digitalized all the operation, you collect the data from the operation procedures automatically. That means you have the data information right away in the system. And all this data should be able to let you to have the visibility and the sharing capability very convenient and efficiently. Everybody from everywhere could access the same data. You centralize all the data at same places, and it's real time. So this is another achievement digitalized warehouse should have. And this is part of the logi-Cloud's mission to help the warehouse to achieve. And also, if we look at a bigger pictures, that's in nowadays for business, for operation and for business, you need to connect. Whether you are connecting to your upstream partner or downstream partner, business partners, or you connect two system or three system together, or you connect other parties via online portal or Excel files, or even API integrations. So the connect or connectivity nowadays is very important. And this is also one of the focus that logi-Cloud WMS or other SaaS solutions like LOGFLOWS is trying to provide as well. And after all, why we should have all this kind of a system supporting all the operations? One of the reasons, if you the business nowadays has changed very, very quickly. So if all this digitalized operation means capability in your business and in your enterprise. And this capability will be supporting you to face different challenges from in the market and different trends, so that you can maintain the competitiveness and also to achieve higher business results with this solid backup. So digitalization is one very solid and strong backup and ground for our company, especially nowadays, to maintain to be competitive in nowadays markets. So back to logi-Cloud, just like mentioned, it's a SaaS software. As the same as LOGFLOWS, we all work in a SaaS model. So SaaS model is very, very friendly for SME, because you can pay as you go, pay as you need. So you don't need to pay for a huge software and then just use like 60% of the functionality. You just pay for what you need and pay for what you used. It's very easy to start. There's no installation at all. Even companies without any IT staff, they can start immediately to use that. But one better warehousing, we try to keep the professional essentials in the logi-Cloud as still, so that we can ensure the result of the operation will still be professional. We can ensure the operation will still be a professional. So the professional means that the productivity will be higher, the accuracy will be extremely high as well. These two are very important to warehousing. So this is the logi-Cloud position. It's friendly for SME to start to use, friendly for SME budget-wise, but still is giving you a professional result. So just like mentioned, the benefits from SaaS or from logi-Cloud is you don't need IT knowledge to start. The whole implementation is very fast. It's just up and run in 5 days already. And just in 5 days, you can already have the warehouse digitalized and operated in a paperless real-time operation mode. And just by one barcode scanning, everything will be updated by real time, including your inventory, the order, and the operation history. And also the logi-Cloud WMS comes with SOP and best practice. That means your operation team can skip the learning time or try by error period, just immediately start follow the global best practice in the warehousing industry. So that's the benefit logi-Cloud can bring immediately. And logi-Cloud is decided, we have position, right? For SaaS solution, especially for SaaS solution, everybody provide a vertical portals and vertical functionality. Just like Felix just mentioned in the LOGFLOWS session, LOGFLOWS is dedicated for last mile delivery management. The same concept applied to logi-Cloud. We focus on FMCG and small to medium sized warehouse. There might be different business model when talking about warehousing. Like you probably the warehouse is supporting the retail store replenishment. It's supporting the wholesale and consignment, regional distribution, or omni-channel fulfillment, or as the most modern is e-commerce fulfillment. The warehouse may be working in different model. We can support most of them. And we support a porter in the warehouse, like consumable electronic appliance, medical porters, ready-to-wear, cosmetic, all these FMCG porters is suitable to use logi-Cloud to manage. And talking about scale, I can give you two benchmark reference. If the warehouse is between 1,000 to 40,000 square foot, probably that's the right scale to use logi-Cloud. If you have a bigger warehouse, more complicated operations, then probably you can consider more dedicated or traditional WMS. But if you are falling into size, you can consider to use logi-Cloud to enjoy the fast implementation and ready-made functionality and best practice. And we try to simplify the complicated things in the warehouse management, so that it's easier for the SME to adapt. This simplification is reflected in the usability. So in logi-Cloud, you can use the web application by any kind of a browser. Once you have the internet, just you open the browser, go to logi-Cloud and log in, and then you have all the data in your warehouse, whether the inventory, the orders, and also operation histories, everything's there. You can search, you can filter, you can inquire at anything, and you can export the results right away. And at the operation side, the operator will be using Android mobile devices. And then in the devices, we will have an Android app installed. And this app is a particular designed for operation. It's provide a very smooth operation procedure. It will not become a burden or interruption to the operation. Actually, it's matched with the operation procedures. It will deliver the guidance or the instruction to guide the operator step by step, so that they don't need to remember all the complicated procedures and all the complicated and tedious details in the operation. They just follow the instruction, follow the step, scan to confirm or scan to verify. The system will tell them immediately whether they are doing right or doing wrong. If they are doing right, they will pass to the next procedure. And at the same time, at the back end, all the data has been updated. Whether you are move SKU from a shelf to another shelf, or you are doing a static, or you are doing a picking, or doing a receiving. Everything will be updated when the procedure is passed. So as a SaaS solution, we also try to simplify the implementation as well. So in traditional world, we spend a significant portion of the resources and time in our IT project to just implement the projects. So in SaaS world, we try to simplify this as well. So here's one example. What if you want to add a new device to the warehouse for them to use logi-Cloud? What you need to do? Do you need IT people to come to your warehouse to do all the installation? No. In logi-Cloud, what you need is just open the mobile phone, download the APK, and scan the QR code. Then it's done. All the registration and pairing is done. You can immediately start to log into logi-Cloud and start the operation right away. So it's as simple as manageable for a warehouse supervisor. You don't need heavy IT resources on that. And the implementation, usually we spend about 4 to 5 days to enable one warehouse to go live. But it doesn't mean we need 4 to 5 days to set up the whole software. Actually, the environment, right now we call it environment rather than software. Your environment in logi-Cloud could be get ready in 2 hours, actually. And then in the rest 4.5 days, 4.5 days, it will mainly focus on training to let your warehouse supervisor know how to use logi-Cloud and also how to put your master data into logi-Cloud, what you need to prepare. And even sometimes we give advisory to the supervisor how to prepare the sites. For example, you need to label each location, bin locations. You need to assign the working areas. You need to decide the picking sequence. All these things will be happening in these 4 days. And on the last day, it will be just importing your inventory Excel to logi-Cloud or performance.txt. Then everything is ready. Your operation team is ready. The system is ready for start the paperless real-time operation on the 6th day. What's more than better is beside once you subscribe to logi-Cloud and start to use, it's actually it's a very common things in SaaS solution. I believe the same thing is also in LOGFLOWS as well, which is the continued improvement, continued software upgrade. In the world of SaaS solution or cloud software, it's very common and it's very easy to see, but it's very unique compared to traditional software. In the traditional software world, once you buy the software, installed on your server, it's becoming outdated. So 5 years later, the software will be 5 years outdated of the market. But in SaaS world, we keep adopting the new features, new requests from the market, from our customers, and turns it into release to the cloud. That means the logi-Cloud users actually enjoying a free upgrade and continuous fix. So, and you don't need to pay for that. You don't need to maintain a software team to keep developing that. We are doing that already and share for all the users in logi-Cloud. So that becomes our responsibility, and that becomes our resources and costs. But there's no cost sharing on your subscription, so it's free. But what it means to you is you have a readiness in the competitiveness. So this is another critical things when you're using SaaS solutions. So also one last thing Felix just mentioned, and also we emphasize always to our customers is that the connectivity. Feels like I mentioned that nowadays connectivity is very, very important. So in logi-Cloud, we keep continually build different connections to different places. Like for e-commerce, we build a connector to get e-commerce order from different marketplaces, a popular one, and to get the order from there so the warehouse can start the fulfillment right away. And we build a connection with ERPs so that when you're using a traditional ERP or modern ERP like a SaaS cloud ERP, we have some integration ready there as well. For operations side, we have a connector with couriers so that you don't need to, you can have the automated courier booking right away when your order is ready. You don't need to the operation team to take care of that. And we also connect to different supply chain platforms. So LOGFLOWS is one our signature or featured integration, pre-built integration, so that the warehouse can work with the delivery team simultaneously. So as you can see in this diagram, this is actually talking about our workflow illustration. Once the warehouse have a complete pick and pack, the signal will be sent to your delivery team, which is under the umbrella of LOGFLOWS as a delivery job. So the delivery team can plan the delivery routing and driver assignment right away. Once that's done, the warehouse can have a delivery label to print out immediately. And then at the right timing, they can hand over to the driver and the driver to scan to pick up the order. This scan means a handover and also means the driver will pick the right orders from the warehouse. And then in LOGFLOWS, the driver apps will take care of the rest of the last mile up to the end user's door. So as you can imagine, in such flow, that means your warehouse and delivery team is work very simultaneously and also at a real time, but they don't need to have any paper to hand over from one party to another party. They don't need to have any phone call or email communication to align, everything will be happened and triggered by the physical handlings. So the benefit, as you can see, is a seamless and paperless workflow from your warehouse to the end user store. And the efficiency will be doubled. You'll enjoy the efficiency in the warehouse activities. You'll enjoy the efficiency in the delivery management. And once you connect both together, the efficiency will be doubled. And another beauty things of the SaaS integration or pre-built integration is when you want to integrate logi-Cloud and LOGFLOWS together, you just need 2 minutes. That means you get the security key from each other and share the security key by input in the connector setting, save it, then it's on. Warehouse and delivery team is connected. Just 2 minutes, managed by yourself. So this is the beauty of the pre-built connection and integrations, and we have this enabled in logi-Cloud and LOGFLOWS already. So the time is quite limited. So about the logi-Cloud, my introduction and PowerPoints at this, and this is our third episode. Just heads up, we'll have 2 more episodes coming. In the next episode, we'll talk about ERP and WMS. And also in the last episode, we'll talk about the more advanced options for warehousing, like what we know, the AGV, the robotic, using robotic in the warehouse, how logi-Cloud can work with that. And also there's other solution like use the light picking or light sorting. This is another intermediate solutions between barcode scanning and robotic. We have some introduction on this in the last episode. Okay, so that's the end of my PowerPoint. I will pass over to Marsh for manage the last session of our webinar.
All right. Thank you so much, Arthur and Felix, for running the discussions. And I hope that our attendees have gained a lot of insights from what you have just discussed. Now, before we proceed to the Q&A, I would like to thank our audience for sending in their questions. And if we don't get your questions today, we'll definitely follow up afterwards through an email. So now let's move on to the question and answer portion. Okay, so for our first question, so an anonymous attendee asks, our company has ERP already. Do we still need WMS and TMS, and why? I think this question is for Arthur.
Okay, so I go first. Felix, if you want to answer this question as well, I answer first and then leave that to you.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so let me repeat the question. The company is already using ERP, but do they still do WMS and TMS? Yes, my answer will be depends. Depends on the scale and also the growth of the company. If the scale is not as too big, and you can still manage everything. If you find comfortable to manage everything by data entry, then probably you can keep using ERP only, because I believe most ERP is already providing functionalities for you to record, like the warehouse stock in, the order fulfillment. Even some ERP can provide you a picking list for what to pick for particular orders. And probably there will be some function to update whether the order has been delivered or if there's any delivery charges, all these things. But the one critical thing is you need to manage all this by data entry. What that means is you manage the data after you have done the operation. So it means working in this mode, that means your operation, the physical handlings is not covered by your software. You manage all the physical things by a manual way, And then after that, you put the result back to your computer and do the data entry. That's the big difference and big judgment. That's the critical point for you to decide whether you need a WMS or TMS. Because WMS and TMS is operation software. We take care of operation. We capture the data automatically from the operation and physical procedures and checkpoints, and automatically conveys into data and feed that to the ERP. It's cool. In a simply way, say it's replace your data entry, but actually this is actually more than giving benefits more than that, including whether your data will be real time, if it's reliable, whether your finance report is actually supported by a reliable data source. Your decision could be based on real time data or a delayed data. All these benefits will make a big difference. And also the operation software will help you to release the workforce and from the data entry work. So imagine if you use just use ERP, probably your warehouse or delivery team maybe spend like 30% of their time at data entry every day. If you use WMS and TMS, actually, release those 30% of workforce into actual physical handlings, because there's no more data entry. They can work more and work more accurately. That's will be my answer. If the scale goes up and you feel uncomfortable to use data entry way to manage your operation, then that's the time for you to consider WMS and TMS. So, Felix, do you have any further comment?
Yeah, I first of all, I fully agree with Alfred. I think it's really depending on what kind of ERP system that the company are using. If first of all, your company are using a ERP system, which is more like a traditional ERP system focusing on procurement and invoicing and job costing, then of course you definitely need an operation system to improve your operation flow. Again, ERP system I think is more like data records and finance business related system. There's most of the ERP system are very lack of workflow or automated workflow like process or function. So if you would like to enhance your company's operation efficiency, or to improve the accuracy of the data, or to reduce the human mistakes, then I think WMS TMS is still needed for your company, especially the logistics company who have a lot of data engine and operation flow. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you, Arthur and Felix. So now for the second question. So is LOGFLOWS a pure software company and without any physical logistics capacity? Felix?
Yeah, we are a pure software company. We provide software called LOGFLOWS, which is a TMS system. But I think it's interesting question because even we do not provide any physical logistic capability, as a logistics service provider who can send you the truck and the driver to handle your order. As mentioned, we are the #1 TMS system in Hong Kong. We also have our business or users customers in other Asia companies like Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam. We have some local carrier as well in the other countries. So the benefit of this is even we ourselves as LOGFLOWS TMS, we do not have the capability to handle physically the cargo movement. We can easily refer our customers without prejudice. We are very fair to the different customers, as long as you can provide us what you needed, what is your business model, what is the volume, what kind of commodity that you are handling, from where to where. as long as you can provide like some like data to us, we can easily to go to our database or customer base to find you probably like 3 to 5 recommended service provider in your country or even the overseas office. Then I think even we do not have the physical movement capability, we can still provide the service, but through our other customers or partners. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Felix. So we do have another question here. How does logi-Cloud connect with traditional ERP systems like SAP, Navision, etc.? Or is it also via API? I think this is for Arthur. Arthur?
Okay, thank you, Marsh. First of all, in logi-Cloud, you can find open API. Yeah, that's one typical nature of SaaS solution. The open API means logi-Cloud is ready to integrate with other system by pre-built connecting port or integration port. If particular for connect integration with traditional ERP system, we usually do it via the open API way. That means we use the pre-built foundation and to enable the business logics. Because different ERP will have different data structure and also logics. So there will be some work to based on the open API foundation to enable that. So that's one of the way we can integrate logi-Cloud with other ERP system. But we do have, we are also exploring to, just like LOGFLOWS, we are exploring to enable some strategic integration, pre-built integration with some popular ERP system. What that means is we standardize integrations, and behind the standardization is talking about the business flow is mapped and matched. So what you do in the ERP will trigger the data to warehouse, and what you've done in the warehouse will trigger automatically the data back to ERP. And these flows and logics are predefined and pre-developed, so it's ready to use. And the result will be like what we do with the integration with LOGFLOWS. You just set up in 2 minutes, then it's done. But to make it happen and make it to reach such kind of a result, it's actually you need a lot of work beforehand. So yeah, back to the question. We have 2 ways to do that. The first way is open API. It's semi-ready for the integration for most of the ERP system, but some works need to do particularly for case by case. And the second way we do is a pre-built integration, but that needs work, and that's need we are doing that like a strategy integration. Yeah, that's the answer. I hope that's answer your question.
All right, thank you, Arthur. And I think this is the last question that we have here. So what is the difference between EDI and API?
First, maybe you go first.
I think my answer is pretty simple. Perhaps it's there's 2 different methods. The EDI are more traditional way. It's like a format or protocol, like for exchange the data between the 2 systems. One of the method is to have a FTP folder to interchange the data file in like a scheduled phase. So it is more traditional. Actually, it's less. It's not instant because there's no programming behind. So it's just simply schedule the actions, let the system to get the data and fit in to the different fields, and then to exchange the different result through like a through a folder, for example. And API actually is a program. It's a program inside a software, you would say. And through this program, we of course will have some standard way to communicate. Like we call it the JSON formats. These kind of globally agreed like format or programming language then the people can easily, even different system, like between logi-Cloud and LOGFLOWS, we are using different way to develop our program. However, as the format of interchanging the data, exchange the data are the same. So it can easily like use the same programming language to exchange the data. The benefit of that is it basically can be instant because it's that a program. For example, I call, or maybe for example, WMS like logi-Cloud, we call it a call our system, or to provide us some data, and then we have the program to return the order status instantly if we get some like milestone feedback. Like for example, order delivery status happen, and then we can immediately call back like a webhook to the WMS. So basically it's instant, and as this is program. So I think this is the differences between the EDI and the API. But of course, for the integration, as also Alpha mentioned, actually even the traditional EDI or file-based system integration is also welcome, as long as it can fit to your company's current system landscape. Yeah. However, if you have any.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's well explained. So I can just think about like metaphor on that is it's like the EDI is the old way of communication. For example, if I have a message I want to talk to Phyllis, in the traditional way, probably I will write a letter, put it in an envelope, and pass it to the post office. And few times later, Phyllis will receive that. What will be Phyllis' reaction? Whether he will be happy or angry, I don't know. But the API is a more latest one. It's like a telephone. So once I know Phyllis's number, I can call that number. I will hear Phyllis. I can talk to Phyllis immediately, and I can feel that whether Phyllis will be happy or angry right away. So it's just two different way of communication, system communication, but one is traditional way, one is more modern and have its advantage, just like Phyllis mentioned. Yeah, that will be my part.
All right. Thank you so much, Arthur and Felix, for an insightful Q&A session. And I hope everything is clear now to our audience. And for the exciting part, I know everybody is waiting for this. So now let's proceed to logi-Cloud's and LOGFLOWS exclusive offer. So for logi-Cloud, the first 10 who will contact us via WhatsApp will get a 12-month free subscription exclusive for Singapore business entities only. So you may scan the QR code or call the WhatsApp number that is flashed on the screen. Use promo code 2022SG when inquiring. Okay, let's move on for LOGFLOWS exclusive offer. So you can get the light version of LOGFLOWS TMS for free. Just scan the QR code that is currently showing on the screen. Thank you so much everyone for spending your time with us. This concludes today's live event. Once again, this is Marsh. Hope to have you at our next webinar event and have a pleasant day ahead. Goodbye!